Hi, welcome back to BTECH's software training series. In this video, we will take a look at the various configuration options that are available when setting up the battery validation system, BVM software, and BVS observer software. Each configuration has its own set of advantages and disadvantages and specialized use cases. The layout of the building that contains the batteries and the battery validation system, or BVS, as well as the connectivity preferences of the customer, will determine which configuration will be used during the setup of the system. The first configuration is the simplest form of communication with the BVS. This type of setup is typically used when a BTECH technician is on site for service or in a configuration where an external computer cannot be set up to communicate with the BVS. The advantages of this configuration are its simplicity in setup, its lack of external computer equipment to maintain, and the lack of network equipment to set up and maintain. A major disadvantage of this configuration is due to its limited internal storage capacity, measurements and events need to be downloaded frequently. In most cases, this should be done at the very least on a weekly basis to avoid data loss. Another major shortcoming of this configuration is that the only way to transfer data from the BVS is via physical access to the device. This means that the BVS is unable to send email notifications of various events and also lacks the ability to be remotely monitored by BTECH's monitoring department. The second configuration is the most basic network-connected BVS configuration. This setup is commonly used when there is no access to a larger internet-connected network, either due to the lack of such network or due to the customer's security policy. This setup is also commonly seen when a customer has no desire for external access or email notifications. Some advantages of this setup are its simplicity, its ability to download data from multiple BVSs connected to the network in one place, and dedicated hardware for storing and monitoring battery data. Because there is a dedicated computer connected to the BVS network, there is no need to worry about the BVS's internal storage capacity. If the customer purchases a pre-configured computer from BTECH, there is no need to worry about the installation and configuration of the BVM software suite. The main downside of this configuration is its lack of external access. This means no access outside of the isolated network, no access to email event notifications, no direct OS updates, and no ability to use OBVM or have the BVSs monitored by BTECH's monitoring department. This setup also makes it difficult for BTECH's technical support team to help troubleshoot issues due to its inability for remote support. However, this configuration can be easily modified to allow BTECH monitoring services by adding a cellular router on BTECH's private wireless network. This device connects securely from BTECH servers and remains separate from the customer network. The next configuration consists of one or more BVSs connected to the customer's network. This particular configuration is common when a customer still wants some setup simplicity but also desires external access along with everything that comes with external accessibility. This configuration is useful when the customer does not want to worry about the BVS's storage limitations, they want dedicated hardware for storing and monitoring battery data, and they also want external access to the systems. External access grants the ability to receive email event notifications and battery health updates, simplified BTECH technical support, the ability to have the BVSs monitored by BTECH's monitoring department, as well as the ability to remotely view and manage systems via client workstations. This remote monitoring can be done via local copies of the BVM software, remote desktop sessions, or online via OBVM software with a BTECH remote monitoring contract. The primary disadvantage of this particular setup is its additional hardware to configure and maintain. This includes adding the BVSs to the customer network in accordance with their security policies and practices, and managing a computer with software and Windows updates. The fourth BVS configuration is very similar to the previous configuration, with the exception that the BVM software suite now runs on the customer's application server or inside of a virtual machine. This configuration is the typical setup for customers that desire BTECH's remote monitoring services. As with the previous configuration, this setup is useful when the customer does not want to worry about the BVS's storage limitations, they want dedicated hardware for storing and monitoring battery data, and they also want external access to the systems. This external access grants the ability to receive email event notifications and battery health updates, simplified BTECH technical support, as well as the ability to remotely view and manage systems via client workstations. The main difference here is that the physical or virtual machine running the BVM software suite is managed completely by the customer. This setup also makes it easy for the customer to maintain backups of the BVM data. The primary disadvantage, again, is its additional hardware to configure and maintain. This includes adding the BVSs to the customer's network in accordance with their security policies and practices, and managing a machine with the software and Windows updates. The final configuration is again very similar to the previous two setups, with the exception that the customer has the means to completely manage BVM data. By implementing this configuration, the customer manages a dedicated physical or virtual machine to run the BVM software suite, as well as installs and maintains the BVM database on their own SQL servers. This setup is typical for larger customers with the desire and ability to set up and maintain servers or virtual machines, along with a pre-existing SQL server to deploy the BVM database onto. Again, this setup is useful when the customer does not want to worry about the BVS's storage limitations. They want a dedicated physical or virtual machine for storing and monitoring battery data. They want external access to the systems, and they want the ability to deploy the BVM database onto an existing SQL server. External access grants the ability to receive email event notifications and battery health updates, simplified BTECH technical support if needed, as well as the ability to remotely view and manage systems via client workstations. This setup makes it easy for the customer to maintain backups of the BVM software suite, as well as maintain backups of all BVM data in accordance with any existing SQL backup routines. The primary disadvantage, again, is the additional machines to configure and maintain. This includes adding the BVSs to the customer's network in accordance with their security policies and practices, managing a machine with software and Windows updates, and maintaining an operational SQL server. This table shows the various advantages and disadvantages of the different BVS configurations. Configuration 1 is useful for quick and simple connection, but lacks external storage and access. Configuration 2 is useful for managing multiple BVSs from a single location, but still lacks the benefits of external access. The third configuration is a good middle ground for customers wanting external storage and access, but don't want to deal with the complexities of managing dedicated machines for software and data. The final two configurations are ideal for customers wanting BTECH remote monitoring and/or the control of managing their own application and SQL servers. We'll be happy to answer any questions. You can just email us at techsupport@btechinc.com. Thanks for watching.